All right, so I just got back from a trip to Moab, and we've been camping out of the Land Cruiser, and I wanted to give a little video before I tear it all down of how we had it set up and what was working for us, good ways and bad ways. So as we've got it sitting right now, we had this is a Yakima. I think it's 18 liters. I'll have to put the specifics in the description, but it fits really good. Really happy with that. A lot of people told me to get a hitch mount, and I actually am really happy we put it on the top. It's very convenient, double-sided, fits nice in the middle of it. You can access it from this side or the other side. And with the sliders, it's very easy to step up here and get stuff in and out either way and have it nice and centered up. So I really enjoyed that. Even if you get a little bit crazier, you can go on the sliders, then to the steps. So you can really access it nicely. So I like being able to access that right there. Let me show you the back first, and then I'll show you the second row. So one of the stipulations was that I needed to keep the second row seating. So that kind of throws a lot of this in a loop, but we'll talk about that in a second. So one big stipulation was I had to bring this. Long story short, we had a lot of frozen stuff. We were going on a ski trip in addition to Moab. So we brought a bunch of frozen dinners from previously, like home cooked dinners. Anyways, so those had to go in the fridge. So that dictates the height. I'll put the description how high this is, all the dimensions and stuff. But basically, this is too high to be super duper comfortable at night. There's just not enough sleeping room in here. So if I had to do it over again, I would probably take the second row out and put this where the second row seats are. As it stands currently, there is no third row in here. You can see that's missing. Third row really opens up the width a whole lot. You go from like 48 inches, this is probably all gonna be wrong, but generally you go from like 48 inches to almost 54 inches whenever you take out the third row. So that makes a giant difference. So yeah, the fridge would go on the second row if I had to do it over again. That allows you to lower this height down. I think this is 19 inches. If you can lower this down, you have a lot better sleeping arrangement up here. This is one 4x8 sheet of plywood. I think it's actually a little bit more than that. I'll have to leave the dimensions for this in the description as well. But basically I have it cut in two sections. So one for like the third row section, and then one for the second row section, so that whenever you're driving down the road, I wanted to be able to use the second row seats if I needed to. So you can take the second row piece of plywood, put it back here, double it up, and then sit the second row seats up. Turns out I never did it that way. And if you don't need the second row, I would just take the second row out. Just in retrospect, that was kind of a waste to have the second row, but I thought I was going to need to use the second row. So 3/4 inch plywood. You can see two sections. They're kind of sitting on top of each other here. This is a queen 3 or 4 inch topper mattress off of Amazon. It was like $40. It was very nice, actually. Super cushion. My wife was plenty comfortable sleeping on top of this. Also, I thought I was going to trim down the sides, but it actually worked out really well to tuck the mattress around the edge of the plywood. You can see how it's got gaps here, but I just didn't want any kind of shaking the whole time and banging up the side of the Land Cruiser, so it's not tucked in right now. But during the trip, we had it tucked in these little gaps, and it made everything ride super quiet. Kind of a little bit of an overview of what's going on here. So turnbuckle into like a hook that we had drilled into here, and you just have to shave the back of the hook off. It's two 2x12s with one of them cut down. This actually works really well. I'm super happy with it. It's kind of loose right there, but during the trip it was tight. And if you're screwing all this together and you have the turnbuckles on there, it actually rode really quiet. I was afraid it was going to rattle for 3,000 miles, but it wasn't bad at all. These little cubbies work out nice. My wife's skis actually fit in here. Skis and poles are long enough to fit in there. That was super nice. Let me show it to you from the side. And we had our dog with us too. We eventually took out so you can see how it's still stacked up there. And it's tall enough in this direction for the dog to stand up. So that was super nice. But yeah, you can see how the second row is still intact. Sorry, I've got a bunch of junk still down here. Second row is still intact. If we wanted to, we could fold this back, sit up the second row, and it would still work out really nice. So that's kind of the general overview of how we did it. I did go up Hell's Gate, Hell's Revenge in Moab. I'll have to make a separate video on that, but it worked out really great. Oh, I didn't talk about in the front up here. we were sleeping here, and we left a crack in the front windows up here just to provide a little bit of cross ventilation. And then it was pretty cozy back here, to be honest with you. We did have a CO2 or carbon monoxide monitor with us, and we left that close to our heads, but it really held a lot of heat back here, and you could still feel a lot of cross ventilation in the front to get some ventilation, but the heat held really nice considering it was such a small area to heat up. So anyways, that's the overview. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'll try to do some more in-depth look into it, but while I still had it up in this configuration, I wanted to take a video before we tear it all down and put it back to daily use form. All right, thanks so much.